Heard all these different explanations from American Indians, from healers, from shamans, from yogis. They all have their different version of why Malibu is so special. I don't need to know why. I can feel it. I felt it when I first came here. I knew I needed to be here. There's something here. There's something that you can't put your finger on it. The spiritual component of this land. This is a sacred land. I'm from Ohio. My mother was born in Poland and my father was born in Palestine. So they're both immigrants to this country and different religions, different ethnic backgrounds. And it was a hostile environment to grow up in, incredibly hostile. There was an older half sibling, so there was a lot of physical abuse. There was some sexual abuse that was going on. Just an awful, awful, awful childhood. So I dreamed about coming out here. I had to get away from Ohio in general because the acting out began to become a snowball. Drinking, drugs, crime. I wound up in downtown LA. I had $850 to my name. My addiction grew, my alcoholism grew. I eventually wound up strung out on heroin and crack, and the high cost of low living began to mount and mount and mount. And it got to the point where I was penniless. I was crazy. I was starving. I was filthy. I was rotting from the inside out. Picking up cigarette butts off the street and smoking them, sharing needles with homeless people on Skid Row. I went to rehab. I'm craving drugs so bad. I haven't had drugs in about 2.5 months. I couldn't take it. I had to see the ocean. And so I said to my friend Frank, "You got a car, man. Can you drive me out to the beach?" And we were coming out through the McClure Tunnel and I saw the ocean and oh my God, I just started crying. I mean, I couldn't help it. And we got out, we parked and I ran and kissed the sand. I mean, maybe I was being a little bit dramatic, but for me, it felt like for the first time ever, I was coming home. I sat there watching the waves come crashing in until the sun went down. There was like a peace washed over me like I had never felt before. And I was just like, I don't care what I have to do. I'm gonna live here. I'm gonna live in Malibu. So I'm a convicted felon. I'm a high school dropout. I can't spell, I can't type. Like, what am I gonna do? Someone said, "Oh, you should meet Sherman. You should meet this woman, Sherman. She's this incredible woman and she takes care of all these animals and takes care of all these dogs." So we walk into this shop and she's like, "Grab an apron. Come on, you want some work?" I was in the worst shape of my life. I was 33, 34 years old, just shot out, veins were collapsed. So here Malibu was offering me solace, offering me food, offering me work, offering me shelter. And then Lou Gossett came into Sherman's place and she said, "Oh, Lou, you gotta meet this guy. He's really great." Now I'm walking Lou's dogs. So these dogs dragged me back into that canyon, away from society, away from judgment, away from my fears, away from cell towers and computers and texting and all this stuff. They dragged me back into that canyon. There's a tree back there that's kind of half fallen down, half growing. I would get real tired and I would go and I would sit on this giant tree trunk. So some days I would close my eyes. Some days I would have mystical experiences sitting on that tree. There were times where I would literally stand up and I would just put my arms around the tree and I would just hold the tree and I would put my face up against the tree and I would sob. I would just cry. There wasn't any rhyme or reason. I don't know what I was crying about. There was something about that tree. There was something about that canyon. And there was something about those dogs. They knew what I needed. And they would give me desperately needed unconditional love. And Sherman gave me that desperately needed unconditional love. And Lou Gossett gave me that father-son, desperately needed energy of an older man telling the younger man, like, "Son, you're gonna be okay." When Lou Gossett believed that I was good, I began to believe that I was good. When Sherman believed that I was good, I began to believe that I was good. Maybe 8 years later, I'm working my butt off, fantasizing about opening up a juice bar. I had about $70,000 or $80,000 saved up. I'm taking a right onto PCH off of Zumarez, and as I'm taking a right, out of the corner of my eye, there's a wallet in the middle of PCH. And I went about tracking down whoever's wallet it was. He walks in, says hello, and he tries to give me the cash in the wallet, and I'm like, I don't want your cash, man. I just want you to have your wallet back. And he's like, no, I want to do something nice for you. I'm like, I'm good. Like, honestly, I used to really have an awful life, and I got a really good life now. And he's like, that's beautiful. And he's looking at all my superfoods, and he's like, wow, you're into superfoods and all that stuff. And I said, yeah. I said, as a matter of fact, I want to open up a juice bar on Point Doom. And the guy looks at me, doesn't know me from Adam, just looks at me and goes, do you need any help with that? Do you need money or anything? I'm telling you, it's sacred ground. I was willing to work hard, and people in this community were willing to forgive my past. These people out here are literally, piece by piece, taking my hurt, and they're washing it off, and they're making it go away. Think about the symbolism of that. It's interesting because I would like to think that I chose Malibu as my place to heal and recover, but it really feels like Malibu chose me. There's something so incredibly special about this community and their ability to love and forgive and embrace and encourage. It's just magical. This is the greatest place on the planet. If I could put as a relation to me, what would Malibu be to me? It's my mom. Of course it's my mom. Because she gave birth to who I am. I'm not that sad, banged up little boy from Ohio anymore. I'm the man that's sitting in front of you today, okay with who I am as a person. Malibu gave birth to that. Malibu and the community of Malibu gave birth to who I am today. And I really love who I am today.